Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm joined today by Dr. Nasser Kharma, who needs no introduction. He is, of course, one of the biggest medical influencers, one of the biggest medical YouTubers, and now, more than anything, is also a doctor. But at the same time as becoming a doctor, Nasser has also passed 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So 2 huge achievements in such a short space of time. Welcome to the channel, Nasser.
Thank you so much, Kiran. Thanks. Pleasure being on.
I have to ask, which of the two do you consider a bigger achievement? Both huge accomplishments, but what when you think of, oh wow, I had an amazing year, what's sticking in your head?
Definitely for me, becoming a doctor. I feel like, becoming a doctor is something I've been working towards for a very, very long time. And it's certainly been one of those cases of delayed gratification and putting in the work consistently for what seems like ages, 9 years of university and, even a bit before that. So that's the one that I'm, extremely proud of. Of course, hitting 1 million subscribers is a massive achievement and I'm really proud of that as well, in different ways, I'd say. And
I think you can tell the passion for it as well. Like you can tell in the content that you produce that you're really passionate about everything that you're doing. And we'll speak about you becoming a doctor in a second, but I wanted to speak a little bit about the 1 million subscribers first. You started your YouTube journey some time ago, and there were loads of other people who also started trying to become YouTubers at that time. What do you think it was about what you did and what you've done over these years that's resonated with people and that actually has meant that you've reached this milestone?
I don't know. Sometimes I think, why me? If someone else just made a YouTube channel and made the same content or similar content, I think, they might have grown the same amount and found an equal amount of success. 2 of the most important things have been consistency for sure. Uploading every week, regardless of whether I'm on holiday, I have final exams, personal life is being really tough. Just making that kind of a priority in my life, just trying to learn constantly. Every single video that I put out, even up until the last ones now, I was constantly thinking about how can I make the editing better? How can I make the script better? The thumbnails, the SEO, whatever. I didn't just sort of find a formula and stick to it and just say, this is good enough. And then of course, luck plays a huge role for sure. It
sounds like you've constantly been learning, you've been sort of evolving with the platform and creating what you perceive as better content each time. What piece of content do you think changed your life? If you're to pinpoint, right, this was the turning point between this is just a bit of a hobby to this is actually something I kind of would like to do for a long time, if not forever.
There wasn't really any individual video that made me feel like I wanted to continue this more and more. I think with every video that I put out, the feedback that I received and the enjoyment that I had in making that video sort of kept me going and made me think, I want to make the next video next week. There were certain videos that did incredibly well in terms of views and subscribers and things like that. Having those successful videos isn't what made me think, oh, let me continue this YouTube thing. I wanted to do the YouTube thing regardless. If I had 0 viewers and 0 subscribers 3 years down the line, I might have given up at that point. So there's definitely a base level of sort of engagement and feedback that kept me going. But I wouldn't say any one video made me think, let's keep going, this is something I want to do forever. It's just the whole process has been fun.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see the community that you've built around your channel as well, because I know that's a huge thing about your channel and what you do is actually speaking to people, and you've obviously got your Patreon and you've got all of these other things that you're doing so that everyone who's watching the channel is also in the loop to, well, this is what I'm doing, here's how we can connect and be involved. And that seems like a huge part of what you do as well.
For sure. I think the community aspect is probably the most important thing that has come out of this channel, helping other people connect with each other, find common ground, learn from each other, etc. I think is like, the golden nugget of having this channel.
When someone finds out you've got a YouTube channel and you want to show them a video, what's your go-to video?
That's never happened, I've always liked
you've never had someone like, oh, show me a video then, or like, oh, send me a link.
Oh no, I couldn't. I would just say, just search Kharma Medic in your own time, not right now, not in front of me, and just watch whatever you feel like. I mean, there have definitely been videos that blew up the channel. The first one was one of my first ever vlogs around medical school exam season. I think it was in 2nd year. That video went really viral, hundreds of thousands of views in like a couple of weeks. And then also a video about how to study in 4-hour blocks, which was just how I had been studying for the last 6 or 7 years. And I was like, let me make a video about it. And it resonated with now almost 10 million people, which is absolutely crazy.
That must be a really good feeling as well, to know that so many people have watched it, but it's not just random entertainment, like it's fulfilling content that actually might be helping people.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
When you look at YouTubers now, is the phrase a ton of penny? Where like there's a lot, basically, there's a lot, and a lot of people making similar kind of content, the kind of videos you have made in the past. What's your sort of feeling about that, about people doing similar stuff? Do you feel like proud that they've taken inspiration? Do you feel like people are, you know, doing too much of the same thing? What are your thoughts on that?
There's been a few times in my video making journey, let's say, for lack of a better word, where I saw other videos from creators that I felt were, you know, like identical copies or really, really close to content that I was making. And that, you know, that kind of annoyed me for a little bit. But for the most part, what I say to anyone who asks me about what kind of content should I make, what should it be like, you know, I took heavy inspiration from other YouTubers. Ali Abdal's a great example, Casey Neistat for vlogs. I took heavy inspiration from them, but I always really tried to sort of put in my own spin, my own narrative, and to build upon what I was taking from them. I sleep comfortably at night with my head on the pillow, knowing that I didn't copy anyone, I didn't you know, like plagiarize anyone's work. I can say heavily inspired by them, but I always tried to make it different and better in my own way.
That's what the originality is. The originality doesn't necessarily have to be, this is a completely new concept that no one's ever done before, but it's your own take on it, your own spin on it. You weren't the first person to do a vlog, so it's trying to work out, I guess, what you do in your vlogs that actually makes things different and brings your style to it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, if people just made the same video I did, but used their own personality, their own voice, their own animations, their own text, it would be a different video, you know what I mean? So it's not that hard to differentiate yourself whilst taking heavy inspiration, I think, but you need to be conscious about it.
What do you think about the advice to someone starting out now, that, you know, you need to pick a niche and you need to try and stick to that if you want to get big?
I think it depends on what you're making YouTube videos for. If you're making them just for fun, then, you know, feel free to experiment with whatever you want. If you're trying to grow a substantial audience, if you're trying to like build a community and a network, it's almost a no-brainer that you need to select a niche and stick to it. Because the reason is people are watching your video and watching you for a specific piece of information, for something in a relevant topic. And so if you start making videos about different things, the next time you upload, if they're not interested in that topic, they're not going to click on it, and it's going to be difficult to keep bringing recurrent viewers, to reach out to new audiences, etc. So to build an audience properly, quote unquote, whatever that means, I think you really do need to niche down, choose whatever topic you're passionate about and stick to it. That's
one of the, I guess personally, the problems I've with my channel is that I just have been a bit all over the place in knowing what I want to do. It's also still so early. And you know, that's why I guess I'm still at a stage of experimenting and trying out different things.
Yeah, but that's also one of the great ways of figuring out what it is that you want to do and what videos you're good at, what videos you make resonates with an audience. You're only going to find that by trying out different things. So I think especially at the beginning, you know, have fun with it and be a bit more broad if you don't already know what you want to do or what you want to stick on.
I'm pivoting now slightly from YouTube to med school and to becoming a doctor.
Cool.
You've finished medical school, you're about to start work as a doctor literally like next week. By the time this video goes out, you will have started work as a doctor.
Yeah.
What are your apprehensions about starting? How do you feel about it? Do you feel prepared?
I'm honestly really excited about starting. I think, oh sorry, let me mute.
You good?
The computer. Great way to ruin the audio. I'm really excited about starting. I think, you know, all the practice and all the theory and all the shadowing that we do is going to be very different to actually being on the ward, making clinical decisions yourself and, you know, kind of taking things into your own hands. The thing that I'm definitely most worried about is our on-call shifts and working weekends when there's a bit less support around. You know, the idea that people are going to be calling me about patients that they're worried about and expecting me to come and solve the situation or help manage it is kind of scary. It'll get better with time, I'm sure, but I feel like the first few weeks are going to be really challenging.
I feel like you've got your head screwed on, and also Dr. Kharma has a nice ring to it, so
if all else fails.
if all else fails, the name sounds nice.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you'll get to a point where, I'm sure people have told this before, but you'll get to a point where you look back on having done something, someone's called you for something, you've done it, and you'll look back and you'll be like, you did that on autopilot. But obviously it takes time to get to that point, and I think you're going to do really well. If you could have gone back to medical school, so you've got the mind you've got now, but you're on day one of medical school, would you have done anything differently?
I would have stopped handwriting notes way earlier. way earlier. The amount of time I spent just sitting down copying words from a lecture slide onto my own pretty, colorful notes. Like, look, it worked. It clearly worked. I've done very well throughout medical school, but I think I could have been a lot more efficient with my studying, saved a lot of time, especially in those earlier years, and probably achieved the same, if not very similar results. So yeah, that's advice I give out all the time now, is try and stop handwriting notes if you can.
What's the alternative then? So what, just very briefly, I mean, you've got whole videos on this.
Yeah, even if you just type the notes as opposed to handwriting them, it'll be probably 3 times faster. Kind of what I learned in my 4th and 5th year of medical school is to just focus my studying around the questions, around the exam content, around question banks, because you know that's the content you're going to be tested on. That's the most high yield content. That's the stuff that you should spend the majority of your time on. And then if you've got spare time, you know, by all means go back and go through everything else, but just to focus around that.
What's the end goal for you? You've hit 1 million subscribers. You are now Dr. Kharma. What more is there to do for you?
I'm so happy with what has been achieved so far, honestly. With the YouTube channel, I said this in my video before I took a break. You know, if I stopped uploading and that was my very last video, I would be so proud and so happy with everything that has been achieved and that has been done. I've completed the game that is YouTube from a personal standpoint. From a medical standpoint, from a doctor's standpoint, you know, this is only just the beginning. I'm an absolute baby doctor, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully, you know, being the best doctor that I can, finding a specialty that I'm really interested in, continuing training there, building my medical career, my comfort, my knowledge, everything. We're just getting started, really.
And we will look back on this video in 10 years' time. Where do you predict that's going to take you? Which route?
Right now, I'm pretty sure I want to go into surgery. That's where I feel the most happy. That's where I feel like I belong. When I'm in theater and I'm watching the surgeons do the operations or taking part in whatever way I can, I feel like, you know, this is what I'm meant to do. But at the end of the day, I know that I need to work that job myself, and I need to see what that lifestyle is like on a day-to-day basis for me as an actual doctor, not as a medical student. It's hard to know from now. I need to work the job.
Do you have in the back of your head, well, is this conducive to also having a career in the media? Or are you thinking solely, well, you know, I am a doctor, I need to choose what I'm passionate about?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a more difficult question. You know, I've worked my entire life towards becoming a doctor. I'm finally here, and I'm genuinely really excited to get started. I'm so happy to be here. I don't regret it, nothing like that. And I owe it to myself to give this my best shot, to, you know, work as hard as I can, you know, try and build my career as a doctor. I am not ignorant to the fact that, you know, people are really unhappy with medicine here in the UK. There's a lot of talk of, you know, doctors leaving the UK and working elsewhere or leaving the profession entirely. I think that's really sad, and, you know, it's something that could happen to me. I'm not saying that it won't. I hope that it doesn't. And again, only working the job and actually doing it is gonna reveal that to me. I can't really know from now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I get the impression you're the kind of person that when they do something, they give 110% to it. I know you're going to give it your all and you're going to be successful in it. Do you think that going into hospital, having this presence online, do you think that helps or hinders you in terms of, have you had people recognize you, and what's their sort of reaction been that to you?
All the interactions that I've had with people recognizing me in the hospital have been nothing but really kind, really nice, very respectful, etc. But from a personal point of view, I think it's a negative thing for me because I feel more pressure. I feel like people have this expectation of me to be, you know, a really smart person, really organized, really disciplined, you know, capable, knowledgeable. I am some of those things, but I think the image that people have of me in their head based on what they've seen of me online kind of gets blown out of proportion. And I think that happens for anyone that people see on YouTube or on TV or whatever. You just have this sort of image of them they have more expectations from you than the average person. So in an ideal world, no one would recognize me anywhere, and I would just sort of be hidden in real life, while still making content and having fun and interacting with the audience and everything. Or rather, there's a place and a time. You know, I love meeting people who watch my channel. I love talking to them, but you know, when I'm working in the hospital and under stress is not the time that I want to be thinking about that type of stuff.
There's just extra eyes on you, isn't there? There's extra pressure, extra eyes on you.
Yeah, exactly that. And you know, when someone recognizes you and watches your videos, like, you'll know immediately. You know, from how they talk to you, how they interact with you, it's just really obvious. And
or even they don't speak to you, but they just keep looking at you. Yeah, so they don't know where they know you from, but they know you from somewhere.
Yeah.
You've already achieved a lot. Who's your dream person to collaborate with? If there's one person who you've not worked with already that you're like, I'd really like to work with this person, who is it? There's
a couple of really bubbly personalities that I think I would get along with and might make for an interesting video. There's Jack Ben Edwards, the booktuber. He makes some really interesting content, and I think he's really sarcastic in a funny way. And then there is Eve Cornwell. She makes a variety of videos, but most recently kind of legal focused mainstream type videos. Wait, the ambulance is gonna destroy your audio.
At least it's medically relevant, so that's fine.
Yeah, true.
It's like I've added the sound effect of an ambulance in the background.
Yeah, you should put a little ambulance animation coming across the screen. So I was saying the second one is Eve Cornwell, who makes a variety of videos, like law-related videos that are mainstream relevant. And yeah, I think those two people are really bubbly and fun, and yeah, I think a collab might be interesting.
Well, that's it. It was great to chat to you. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. I know you are super busy, especially at the moment, just getting all the stuff ready to start work. Your first week as a doctor next week.
A lot going on for sure.
Once again, congratulations becoming a doctor, 1 million subscribers. Best of luck for next week, and hopefully we'll see you on the channel again.
Thank you so much, Kieran. Yeah, man, anytime. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.